Shalom everyone. Now I know that I kind of announced on my Facebook, I think it was last night, that this video will be my third testimony and my last part of the testimony. However, I've been writing notes down for days now, and every time I sort of read through my notes I kind of tend to add more things to talk about, and I realized that my testimony video is going to be a long video. So I thought that I might actually do that after the Sabbath, and I might actually make the video maybe Sunday or Monday. And so I decided to make this video tonight about Taqiyya instead. Now, Taqiyya actually means to conceal, and it's used to conceal, beliefs, intentions, feelings, opinions. In practical terms, it kind of manifests as lying and being deceitful. And it's kind of used to, fend off any criticism of Islam and Muslims, really. Now, some Muslims will say that Taqiyya is kind of used in the face of persecution. However, many people will also say or think that it's kind of actual deliberate deceit to promote Islam and Islamic goals, pretty much. Now, so I suppose when we see Muslims playing the victim, or kind of complaining literally about everything, and I don't say that in a mean way, but it's kind of true. They play the victim a lot. Or they say that everybody hates us, everyone's against us, or when they say Islam is really truly a religion of peace, we're tolerant, or even when they claim that, for example, terrorists and violence has absolutely nothing to do with Islam, that is also a form of Taqiyya. Now, some of the Muslims may be genuine in thinking all those things, but I guess if you say a lie often enough, or if you say a lie over and over again, people tend to actually believe it. And I think repetition seems to make things seem more plausible, in a sense. And there are heaps of people in the West who actually now have fallen for that victim mentality of Muslims, and who actually do believe that Islam is a religion of peace, and it's tolerant, and it's beautiful, and all the rest. And I think it's sad, because nothing could be further from the truth. Now, Taqiyya. So Sunni Muslims kind of actually think that Shia Muslims kind of invented Taqiyya. Now, while it may be true that Taqiyya sort of originated with Shia Muslims, just because they are a minority and they do get persecuted, we also have to be realistic and say that Sunni Muslims actually do practice it as well. Now, the Quran sort of encourages it as well. There are many verses in the Quran which kind of point to it. I'm sort of just going to mention a few, just because they're kind of obvious, and there are many, like I said, that are actually very controversial, very contradictory as well. Now, one of them is Surah 3, verse 28, where Allah tells the Muslims, not to make friends with Jews and Christians and unbelievers unless they are, except if they're actually fearing danger from, those people. And now Surah 5, verse 51, Allah tells Muslims, you are not to be friends with Jews and Christians, period. No excuses, just no friendship. And obviously there are people now, Muslims, who are friends with Jews and Christians and unbelievers. But, even when I first converted to Christianity, not to say that everyone did it, but most of even my close friends, they're moderate Muslims. Some are sort of, just cultural Muslims. They don't even they don't even practice at all, and they sort of just stop talking to me altogether. So that kind of says a lot. It's like, well, you're not really practicing at all, and yet you can just shun me off like that. But oh well. Now there are a couple of hadith verses as well, which one of them is Sahih Bukhari 49, 857. It was heard that Muhammad actually said this, and he said, "He who makes peace between the people by inventing good information or saying good things is not a liar." Now, I think these days, if people are to actually make things up as they go along, or just, like I said, just make things up or invent things, they kind of would be classified as a liar. But I suppose in Islam it's okay. There's another verse in Bukhari that reported Abu ad-Darda saying, now Abu ad-Darda was one of Muhammad's companions, and he said, "We smile in the face of some people, although our hearts curse them." And I kind of know this to be fact with some people that I even know. They'll smile to your face, as in to unbelievers. They'll be friendly, and then, they leave. And then in Arabic, they'll just, curse them or call them pigs. One day, we're going to kill them, or one day, they're going to die by a hand, sort of thing. And once, years and years ago, I actually went to, when I was still a Muslim, went to this Lebanese restaurant, and I was picking up food. And there was an Aussie couple in front of me, and they ordered, and pretty much the same thing that I just said happened. They kind of left, and the owner started speaking in Arabic about them, and then I was like, wow, you kind of pretty much were really polite in front of their faces, and behind the back it's a different story. But that's not to say that it happens with everyone, or that everyone does it, because not all Muslims on the planet, the whole entire planet, practice Taqiyya. Okay, yes, they lie when they say Islam is a religion of peace and all, but I suppose it kind of proves that they don't know much about their own religion, unless they do know and are practicing Taqiyya, and most actually moderate Muslims that I know personally, do think that, Islam is a religion of peace. They genuinely think that. And they actually genuinely do like the Christians and the Jews, and they're friends with them. Even when I was still Muslim, I absolutely never, ever, ever hated the Jews and Christians. Especially Jews. I had no problem with them. I never hated them. And I always wondered, what on earth, what's this hate about? Until I read the Quran. But even after that, I absolutely never, never hated them. And, but even though moderate Muslims are like that, and they don't have problems with certain things, I guess moderate Muslims, how do I put this? Those moderate peaceful Muslims, don't define Islam. Or should I say, Islam is not defined by those peaceful moderate Muslims. Islam is defined by the Quran, Allah, and Muhammad. And, their feelings or opinions or, individual beliefs about certain things don't really matter, at all. Quran has the last word and authority. And those moderate Muslims, for instance, who take Christians and Jews as friends, who have no problems with Christians and Jews, according to Quran itself, aren't even considered Muslim anymore. And, they're considered, one of us, one of Christians and Jews and unbelievers. And, I think that's something they also need to have a look at. Now, I do want to end on this. Now, there is a Egyptian Salafi, fundamental preacher that I used to listen to when I was Muslim. I listened to him every single day. And, he's one of those really blunt, honest, very, very honest Salafi preachers. He doesn't beat around the bush, he doesn't sugarcoat. He says, yes, this is what it says in the Quran, this is what it does say in the Hadith, and, what are you going to do about it, sort of thing. And I know that most Salafi preachers, or believers, Muslims, are very much honest with their beliefs, with what it says in the Quran and Hadith. They are very unapologetic. And I guess that's one good thing about the Salafis. Now, with this preacher that I'm talking about, I had to actually, not had to, but I, kind of wanted to, because I wanted to get this quote that I'm about to read. I watched one of his videos back, and he's pretty much, telling Muslims, what's wrong with you, kind of thing. Like, why are you lying to people? Why are you not brave enough to speak the truth? And I sort of, rewatched the video, and I wrote, well, it's a longish quote, but I'm going to read it out just so you can see pretty much like the mindset of a fundamentalist preacher, Muslim, who kind of says it like it is. Now, he kind of starts off this quote, or the saying, with, come on bro, where are you living? Keep it real. What is preventing non-Muslims from Islam is that Allah knows that they are so bad, Allah is not going to guide them. They don't deserve guidance, or we Muslims don't have the bravery that the Sahaba had in conveying the truth. Now, the Sahaba are Muhammad's companions back in the day. And then he continues, so we lie and we cheat and we claim things that are not part of Islam. That are not part of Islam. And guess what? Not all of them are dumb. So he's saying that not all unbelievers are dumb. And then he continues saying they can tell when we lie. They can tell when someone says Islam is peace. Islam is about peace. There is no jihad. There is only jihad. The only jihad is the jihad of the soul. You fight against your struggle, your, shaitan, and that's it. That's where jihad ends. Every verse in the Quran you read, you misunderstood it. And he's sort of talking from a point of view how Muslims are telling what the Muslims are telling the unbelievers. And then he continues saying, that's haram. Why are you afraid to tell the people the truth? Don't you think Allah gave them a brain? Don't you think this kafir is going to open the Quran and read Surah Anfal, and he's going to come across these ayat, or verses, the military verses, which you've been trying to hide? Then what are you going to do? Then he's going to say to you, you guys were lying to me the whole time. So you keep playing with the deen of Allah, changing and altering and sugarcoating to please a bunch of people, and at the end of the day, the dawah is lost in the process. And I think that's kind of very true. Muslims do, whether they sort of do it on purpose or not, they do sugarcoat a lot of the Quran. I know many Muslims who, when it says, kill Christians and Jews, or kill this or kill that, they come to you and say, well, that's not what Allah meant. And it's like, what on earth, like, what did Allah mean when he says kill Christians and Jews? Like, what other meaning can there be? And are you trying to, say that Allah wasn't clear in his instructions? So, yeah, I think, I don't know, sometimes I don't know whether Muslims are in denial or paranoid. Oh, well, yeah, that too, but I don't think they're all just ignorant, but they do definitely, like, this guy says, sugarcoating it, beating around the bush, trying to please other people, instead of actually saying, yes, this is what it does say, and hey, maybe I don't believe it, but this is what it says at least, But no, they kind of ignore the whole thing, or, I don't know, but yeah, I kind of wanted to end with, what this guy said. And yeah, I kind of, liked listening to him when I was a Muslim, because he was like straight to the point. He didn't lie. Like, he was just, this is what you need to do, or this is what we believe, and so yeah. Anyway, so I'm gonna leave it at that. And yes, so hopefully after Shabbat I'm going to do my testimony finally. So yeah, thank you for listening, and until next time, shalom.